French twink? This isn't a setup for a joke. I'm just asking.
I don't know. I don't speak French.
Oh, no, I'm
Yeah,
not.
me
I'm
neither.
not a twink.
I'm not a twink. Yeah.
Anyway, before we begin, I just want to say that two of you really hurt my feelings.
I do.
I didn't say you.
Okay,
Is
I
one
was
of them
just
me?
assuming. Sometimes I do that.
No, two of them, both of them are Loveita and Tim.
What?
Ooh.
Oh boy. What did I do?
You know what you did.
I'm sorry, Nofo. I love you.
Okay.
Give me.
Yeah, same.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the podcast while we try to figure out why they pissed off Nofo. 32 days, 18 castaways, 5 co-hosts, and 1 podcast. We're going to be going over the most recent boots from Vince and Davey, as well as the swap that just occurred and the insanity that has ensued since. I guess let's talk about the round where Vince goes home. That round, we really saw a lot going on in the game finally. Most notably, I think we have to talk about Lauren's 180 from complete silence to insanity following her spider bite.
The spider bite really did give her superpowers. She wasn't making it up.
Just trying to find a comment from her. Okay, plain Jane, basic Becky, even admitting you guys are boring and lethargic over there. I mean, just like that came out of nowhere and I was just a flip of the hair there.
Well, she promised it.
Oh.
She promised to do this, so luckily, she wasn't lying.
Yes, Lauren is definitely pulling through on those promises.
Yeah, I mean, she's gone from nothing to like one of my absolute favorites. And I would say Jessica also did the same thing for us where, I mean, even more so, we had no clue she would deliver, and she did. Let's talk about what happened on Miombo. Vince got fucked over because we introduced the twist where you could take coins in exchange for a disadvantage for your tribe. Missy decided to take the coins and framed Vince, unfortunately, much to our disappointment because Vince was actually showing up and entertaining, unlike Karishma, who has not shown up very much.
On top of it, too, like when something like that happens and somebody decides to take the disadvantage, you know, you can pin it on a person and they can deny it and everyone can deny it. I think what really screwed Vince is that Aaron also took the disadvantage. So not only is there just one person and it's like an easy, like, oh, they were trying to frame me. Now you have 2 people who have randomly taken it. And like, it's not just like the one random hinky vote somewhere. It's not just one person disadvantaging the tribe. It's multiple disadvantages, and your odds of being able to convince people it wasn't you are exponentially harder. So poor guy.
Completely agree. What else with that too is that if you pin it on somebody who's not been the most active and you know they haven't formed the most relationships, like other people aren't going to fight back on that. Doesn't matter if they necessarily believe it or not. You've finally just given them an excuse to put their vote a certain way, and they're like, yeah, sure, whatever, I'll do it.
Yeah, really, I think this round we saw all of our characters become fully realized personalities. I think even Joaquin was saying, like, there's no real weak links in this group aside from Karishma and maybe Jack, who we also know have the potential to be good personalities. So we should be looking at a really strong finish, what has been proving to be that so far. I think, you know, we already touched on Elizabeth's rule on this tribe, but I think we finally saw Missy's chaotic side show up, where I think she was kind of making those moves just to make them. Like, she didn't really have to pin anything on Vince.
No, I agree. I think Vince probably would have
She
been
didn't have to take that tribe disadvantage, but there she was, even with the idol in her pockets already. She just took it, because why not?
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame her for taking the coins. I think I would have shut up about it, you know, or just taken them and been like, I don't know who it was.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I also found on the other tribe, Nick takes the coins, and he's going to take them again in the next round. But I also find the people that take the coins are the ones who are most aggressive about wanting to vote out the people who took the coins. You know, like we saw that with Aaron as well. He took the coin and then was like, whoever took them's getting voted off. And then, you know, like really made this big fuss about it.
Well, it's overcompensating.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Nofo, if you're in the tribe, the first person to be like, oh my God, I wonder who took the coins. I bet it was Vince. We should vote him out. I'd be like, you, like 95% of me would be like, you're probably the person that took the coins, just trying to cover your ass.
And people are realizing that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think your best bet would be say nothing, and then when somebody accuses you, just be like, no. But if you're pushing hard, then I'm just gonna think you're lying.
I play a lot of Mafia, and like that's the typical newbie like strategy for when you're scum. You want to deflect onto somebody and just be really aggressive about it. It doesn't work out that well, but they don't really know that strategy, so who knows how that will work out.
Yeah, and I mean, we do talk about like typically the more aggressive play early on in Stranded pays off, and I think we saw that evidenced again by Vince going home, and unfortunately Davey also going home from not making enough connections or putting his neck out there early enough, whereas the women really did. So I think that's going to be another lesson that we could teach new players is like, look, you really got to get your hands dirty. If not making a lot of alliances, at the very least making the connections to where you're not expendable.
Well, right. I mean, for both of these people, you don't necessarily need to be like, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but Kara was really pushing hard for a vote today. And I don't necessarily think you need to be playing hard in the sense that like you want a certain person out. You're going to be fighting at, final 19 for the target that you want out. But I think the thing that people need to get across is that like Davey was doing fine, but who is the person that was going to fight for Davey? Who was going to be the one that was going to put their foot down and say, no, like I'm not letting him out of my sight. I'm not letting you vote him out. Like, I think that's where people get lost is if you're not talking game, if you're not building that relationship, no one's going to feel like they can't move forward in the game without you. And I think that that's where a lot of these people find themselves just disposable, even though they like you.
Yeah. And I think as, we get better and better at casting these things, I think each season, as we get more casts that are this dynamic, you're going to have less room to hide. And so you really have to kind of work your way in there. I mean, even, they're using Christian as an extra vote. But I will say, every time I logged on during the day, Christian was there talking to people. He made himself available enough to be an extra number, even though he wasn't there at night as often. And, he wasn't the most exciting personality. He was still talking to people.
It's amazing what being online at the right time can do for you. Because, if he hadn't shown up earlier today and had more conversations with Kara and Allison, they wouldn't have tried as hard to keep him because they wouldn't have had the excuse they had. But it was a little bit of differing activity level where Davey was the one who wasn't around as much. And so John, who really wanted to protect Davey, couldn't justify it to other people.
Yeah, and then Christian ends up being swapped with Allison and Kara as well.
Yeah. Oh, this swap is amazing. Let's dive into the swap. So where do we even start?
Start with they start posting and they're put on different tribes together. Initially, I don't know if we want to read off what the tribes were, but some standouts in that list. Where are they?
Is the standout moment for me is that Tommy is fucked and I couldn't be happier. I fucking hate him.
I love Tommy.
I love Tommy too.
I think, yeah. Oh God, there was so much going on. We have to talk about the whispers. Everyone fucked up the whispering to a hilarious degree. I think the worst offenses we saw were Elizabeth saying she can't get stuck on a tribe with Karishma. Tommy fucked up. Jessica was terrible.
Yeah, was it Jessica who said, or did Lauren fuck up too?
I think Lauren fucked up as well.
Lauren didn't fuck up. She was just...
She purposely did it.
Yeah.
Lauren whispered to Jessica that she was a cunt. So we have to talk about
basically.
That.
Lauren didn't give a shit, and I love that she's the one person sitting there being like, new tribe, new start, the rest of you are idiots. Like, just sitting there antagonizing the cast. It was incredible.
I love that she's still like, people are messaging her on her new tribe, and she's like, no.
What's in it for me?
Yeah, Aubrey posted what's in it for me. Carl's reaching out to work with her.
And then we had the whisper copy paste of John whispering to, I think, every single person on Original Neri asking, are you bidding for it?
Yeah, I think John got the most fucked, except his tribe has inactive, so he should be okay.
I was going to say, I don't think John is fucked at all. He's on the tribe with...
He's in the majority.
And Kara and Christian. Like, he's going to be running that tribe.
I think you're going to be with Jack.
Yeah, I think Jack might be in trouble.
Right. Jack and Karishma on that tribe are so screwed.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. I meant Jack and Karishma. Yeah, thank God. I really hope that they lose both so we can lose Jack and Karishma, frankly. Jack is not delivered for me.
Me either.
And even if they accidentally lose Christian, that's fine.
Right.
But speaking of Jack and Karishma, Missy just posted a whisper to John in the Drop Your Buff saying Karishma is someone not to be trusted. She took the disadvantage and she'll do it again. Oh, and she's very inactive.
Karishma wasn't even online.
Holy shit.
All right, we
So
gotta
a
lock
fight
this
just
thread.
broke out between Karishma and Elizabeth because of Elizabeth fucking up the whispering, saying, I can't be with Karishma alone.
I love it.
Wow. Yeah, I think that this season was a powder keg to begin with, and now I think that we're finally seeing it explode.
If this isn't the number one moment of the season, I'll be very confused and excited for whatever number one is, because that was amazing.
Yeah, I can't, I actually see a couple people hopefully stepping into their character a little bit more, specifically Aaron and Chelsea. I think we'll get to know a little bit better. And I'm hoping maybe even if Jack doesn't go home, hopefully he'll become more of the character we saw in casting. So all around, though, very exciting. John was asking me if he could send someone on another tribe his idol. All kinds of craziness going on right now.
So let's just do a quick rundown of each tribe, and we'll start with the new tribe, the third tribe, Peroto, since we already kind of mentioned it. This new swap tribe is Allison, Jack, Karishma, Christian, John, and Kara. So like we were saying, this is Jack and Karishma basically are kind of screwed, in my opinion.
I think Jack
But-
is going to get along well with Kara and Allison, maybe? I feel
Right,
like he has that ability.
Yeah, I would say that Jack is probably going to do better than Karishma in surviving a tribal, but I don't see a way to really crack into that group of four.
I don't know that group of four is so strong, though. Kara really, she has the most options on this tribe because she's in with Allison, but she's also in with John, and she's very close to Christian. So really, I could even see her getting along with Jack and potentially making something outside of Allison.
Yeah, I tend to feel, especially in these small tribes, the instant reaction is to just like cluster together with the people that you know. So at least for the first vote, I feel like those four aren't going to separate.
No, and there's no reason to, because Karishma's not going to be around.
We are going to get one iconic night from her tonight, though.
Yeah. What do we think about Allison overall? I actually think she has massive villain potential.
They were trying to get her out.
Dan was trying to go against her. I think he was the only one.
Okay.
who also has extreme villain potential.
Well, my thing about Allison on this tribe is she really lucked out here. I don't know if we already mentioned it, but Elizabeth won the auction to switch spots on the tribes, and she decided to switch spots with Allison. So Allison went from being in the minority on her original tribe with Dan, who wants her out, and now swapped over to a tribe where she's going to be comfortably in a majority with people that she just voted with. So I think she's going to be safe here on this tribe, which I think is only going to make her a little more gutsy, a little more ballsy moving forward. Start thinking she's really good at the game, which could lead to a great villain downfall later in the season.
Any other thoughts on this tribe before we talk about the others' dynamics?
John is continuing to impress me. I think that this swap is going to work out very well for him, and I think it's going to put him in a great position at the merge.
Yeah. John has the most coins. He has the idol. He's in the majority on his tribe. He's the safest currently. But I said that about Davey last week.
I would put money on him finding the new idol on this beach as well.
He was the only one screaming like, hey, let's just keep everything the same.
Yeah, he was very supportive of his swap publicly. And it's worth mentioning that he's gotten all these coins now because he was the only one who told Davey that people were thinking about voting against him.
Oh, yeah,
So
right.
he's already managing that.
I wonder if things had stayed the same. I guess he felt comfortable with Kara and Christian. I'm not, he was kind of on the outside of that Davey vote, so I'm not sure why, he felt like he wanted to keep it.
I think he probably just didn't want to be pushing twists and blowing up people's spots, which, as soon as all of the whispering started, there was no way you're going to reel it back in. So,
yeah, right. other people in that tribe. I haven't really been following Christian's conversations today. Is he delivering on any level? I know Aubrey's the big fan.
I mean, he did a lot of oh, go for it, Hannah.
It's a little weird. People started to like him. It seemed like he was going to get voted out last vote, but he was just like charming to some people that they kind of changed their mind and switched to Davey instead. So,
yeah, I find him. A lot of people are flirting with him. Is that just me?
Maybe.
I think Allison was flirting with a lot of people. So I think
Yeah.
it might be an Allison thing and not a Christian thing.
Okay. What about Kara and Christian? There's no flirting going on there?
I don't think it's flirting. I think he just like promised her his life or something. I haven't scrolled far enough back to figure out what he promised her to make her like stick her neck so far out for him.
What do we think of how Kara's playing? There was some pushback against her game because a lot of people thought she was overplaying by keeping Christian and getting rid of Davey.
To be 100% results oriented, I would say this 100% worked out.
I was going to say, I don't hate the move, mainly because Christian is actually there and voting with her. I think it would be a little different if it was like Karishma, who is not really there.
Right. I don't think that overplaying is necessarily a bad thing, but I mean, it's just another case of we're at day 8. There's still 18 players left in the game. Like, is it really the time to stick your neck out and be like, let's take out Davey because I need Christian as my GOAT in the future? You know, we talked about this in Pearl Islands podcast with Jillian, where when you're at the final 18 and you're already trying to protect somebody as your loyal number who you're going to drag to the end, you have to imagine that other people have the exact same plan and that it's probably not going to work out the way you think.
Yeah, a little bit of the Abby Maria situation too in Second Chances, you know?
Right.
Where they kept her around and it ended up biting her because they couldn't control her. I think that that's a little bit, certainly that was the case with Jillian. It could be the case with Christian. We know he's prone to wanting to make big moves, as he said. We'll see if that actually happens, but I don't know. I don't think you should stick your neck out for a GOAT this early in any situation.
Right.
Christian is what we thought Eric would be last season.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go ahead and talk about the new Miumbo tribe. It is Angelina, Dan, Chelsea, Elizabeth, Missy, and Tommy. Elizabeth used her advantage to switch with Allison, so now the original Miumbo have an advantage on this tribe.
This tribe's going to be a train wreck.
Oh, yes.
Doesn't this put Dan and Angelina in a very precarious situation?
Yeah.
On paper, yes, but Tommy also kind of tanked his relationships with Missy and Elizabeth today, and I don't think he knows it, but both of them are very suspicious of him in their confessionals. So I'm a little nervous for him.
I think he knows that. I mean, in his confessionals, he said Missy is somebody who will cut a bitch, and then he said, "Oh yeah, Missy's fucking pissed at me." So he has an idea. I don't know if they're going to go right for him. I don't know what Dan is going to do in this group and how that might impact things, because I think he could very easily turn people against him, especially with this group of characters.
I think Dan will get along with Tommy. That's going to be a no-brainer. I think the question's going to be what Angelina does, whether she gets along with them. You know, I think Chelsea will stay close to Missy and Elizabeth. I think that those three are a lock. It's really going to come down to what, you know, if Tommy, Angelina, and Dan come together, or if Tommy helps them boot Dan and then possibly fucks himself, you know.
I could see any one of them getting voted out next time if they lose, to be very honest with you.
I can see the women protecting each other.
I could see that Missy and Chelsea are definitely locked. Like, that's no question. They're not going to stray from each other at all on this tribe. How everything else shakes down, I don't know. It could be interesting. There's literally, this tribe has so many of these crazy personalities that it could happen a variety of different ways.
Yeah, and they're all very much wanting to play the game hard. I mean, Tommy even, I think, would get his hands dirty. But specifically, like, Dan was trying to push back against the Davey vote. Angelina, we know, is crazy. Elizabeth has been controlling much of the game. And then you have Missy and Chelsea who are working as a duo to cause as much drama as possible. So I have no idea.
Also worth noting that Missy has an idol in her pocket. So even if things start to go awry for her, she has a little bit of protection.
I'd see her get blindsided, though.
I think Missy is moving so fast, it would be hard for people to catch up to her game. I mean, that's one thing about being so aggressive so early is that you are going to have the advantage of outrunning other people strategically in terms of moves, you know? Let's talk about Missy and Elizabeth have a little beef going on right now.
Did they? Where was that?
Weren't they just fighting over how much coin they have? And maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can pull that up.
Maybe, yeah. Reem says, huh? I'll just read what Reem's saying. Is that Missy is trying to rope Angelina in.
Tommy knows Missy doesn't trust her.
If Missy can work with Angelina, Angelina would be a good foil for Missy. I think that's what is being said here. Awesome.
Okay.
Lots of she's.
Yeah, I don't know how this is going to shake down, to be honest. I'd be curious to see if Missy and Angelina get along. They didn't seem like
same.
they would. I'm sure Reem is curious about that too.
I think they will either fall in love with each other or completely hate each other, but it will not be, an ambivalent attitude. It's either really going to click for them or it's really not. And I'm excited to see it either way.
Okay. Let's move on to the final new tribe, the new Nairi tribe. On this tribe is Carl, Jessica, Nick, Dean, Aaron, and Lauren. This tribe is a train wreck. Just from having Lauren on it is enough to screw everything up. Lauren and Jessica, wow, they were publicly fighting during the live auction.
Lauren's just a canister of gasoline. You can't let anything that could spark get close to her. And thank God we have Jessica on this tribe, who is just a living fire.
Yeah, those two are gonna consume all the oxygen in that room.
Lauren reminds me of this person I played with a couple times, like a few years ago, who would, she would talk a lot of shit in public. Like she would always be starting shit, but then she'd be talking really good game to you one-on-one. And she ended up winning that game and then came back and did the same thing again. You ruined it, bitch.
I was going to say, are you talking about me? That is very much my game.
She reminds me a lot of you in Crash
Is she good in private, though? I don't know if she's got any strategy in private. That's the problem.
I think she does. I think she can do that.
I would live for that. Honestly, we need...
Maybe she's just too stubborn to show her strategy.
We need a me in this game.
Lauren winning before victory would have made that season the best season ever if Lauren could just get to the end. Throw Lauren into that cast.
Oh, yeah, I know. Don't speak that into existence. I'll have so many regrets. Yeah, she could be a dark horse. Certainly the distraction strategy has worked before, and she is an experienced gamer, so it's not like this is foreign to her. How will Jessica handle this? Jessica's brand new to this, and she is very... Gosh, she's such a bitch, right? Is that just me?
Yeah, she was bidding hard in that auction.
Yeah,
she
made
really
it very
wanted
clear.
to get off there.
I love her so much too. I think she's got extreme villain potential. She's already realized that. But if we can somehow protect this tribe and keep Jessica and Lauren both in the game together, that would be incredible.
We need like an Aaron to be voted out if they ever go to tribal.
Right. Yeah, that's the only real weak link on the tribe. But the other guys are pretty good.
So this is the only 3-3 split tribe, right? And it's also the only one without an idol on it.
I actually could see the other tribes, if they get the opportunity, throwing so that, I think the tribes with who have the majority will want to throw to save some of their people on the other tribes, potentially.
It's always something that does come up.
But, that's a risky move. These tribes are not, I don't know if I would risk that this season.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, so my biggest fear here is that Jessica and Lauren leave and all the boring people make it the merge. And to call them boring is terrible because people are all funny, but I just feel like Jessica and Lauren and their feud, the longer that it lasts, even if it just makes it to the end of the pre-merge, like that's all I want. I just want them around to continue in public calling each other out.
Right. Yeah. So also in this tribe we have 3, if not 4. We might even lump Aaron in. That's probably too generous. Of our extreme strategist super fans on this tribe in Carl, Nick, and Dean. Aaron also has some strategic chops, but he's not as prominent as those other 3 have been. Do we think that those guys will get along with one another, or do we think it's kind of going to be a battle of strategy on this tribe?
Battle of testosterone.
I think it's going to be a battle of strategy. Dean already is whispering to people about staying Miyambo strong in that drop your buffs thread, which like everyone does every time there's a swap. And I'll be interested to see how much longer that lasts. But I mean, in DMs already, Aaron is saying that we need to chuck Lauren. Dean has made it very clear he wants Lauren out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're not going to be opposed to working with Nick and Carl. They're not going to be opposed to flipping and trying to get their way. You know, they're too self-interested to just be like, oh, well, my strategy is that we want to stay just the three of us, you know?
Just as a live update, Karishma is now fighting with Missy in the drop your buffs thread.
I know, it's perfect.
I wanted to close this, but they're not letting me because I also want to watch what they have to say.
Live commentating.
They stopped whispering, so I'm okay with it.
I would just want to comment and be like, y'all are still here. We need to clean the beach.
Production needs to clean up here and go to bed.
The cameras are out of batteries.
I will say, like, going into this season, this was not my favorite like preseason cast. I wasn't super excited about a whole ton of people. I'm glad that that was completely wrong. And they are delivering more than most seasons do. So
Here, Poody, post this GIF and close the thread.
okay. Well, somebody just threw out twat to somebody else, so
Good lord.
gotten a real highbrow in there.
Twat is just a great word.
Anyways, what were we talking about before?
The Neri tribe, the new Neri tribe. We've got Dean and Aaron who probably wouldn't mind sacrificing Lauren.
Oh, no.
How quickly would Nick and Carl sacrifice Jessica? I think pretty quickly as well.
I think they would as well. The difference is, and I think this is key, is I think that Nick and Carl are going to stick more to like the strategist of, oh, well, if they're willing to throw away Lauren, we'll take it. But then we have a majority. I'm sure Jessica's going to go with her tail between her legs, being like, I'm sorry, guys. I just wanted to be with Allison. You know how much I love her. Black Widows for life. So we'll see how things go. But I would see Carl and Nick being way more willing to work with Jessica than Aaron and Dean looking to move forward with Lauren.
Lauren is a queen that must be protected at all costs. That's where I'm going to leave it. Something tells me she is not going pre-merge. I can't allow that to be. I can't put that into existence.
Wow, the idle password just Lauren rules.
yeah. The idle password is Lauren. I think that's all we could say. I really would like to get back to watching these people because they're fucking insane. Just like we like them. Any other things people want to say before we hop off for the night?
I would like to say that the rhino is really cool. The rhino icon for the Peroto tribe.
Yeah, the final three is going to be Dean. Who else did I say? Missy and
Angelina.
yeah, her name. That girl. Sorry.
Nofo's rooting for chaos.
Well, we've got a lot of it on this cast.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Make sure to preview your messages always.
Yeah.
I don't think the whisper shows up in the preview, does it?
The message itself probably doesn't. It might. I don't know.
It shows up as being like in the box, which is
Yeah.
so you can at least
shows
tell
a
when
pin.
it's in the code.
How about if the host give you something to practice, fucking do it ahead of time before you make an ass of
Actually,
yourself.
never. I want this to happen every week.
Yeah, future players.
We
I
saw
hope it happens again.
We're not giving you access to this podcast.
saw it with
No
the first
practice.
community challenge. We saw it here. We give them
true.
exact things to practice, and they go ahead and mess it up anyway.
Yeah, I would say people are inherently lazy and will do it regardless of if they hear this. So,
True.
new mistakes will always happen. That's one constant throughout Reddit history.
And we will always laugh at them.
Yeah, I'm going to hopefully weather a hurricane that's coming my way, but assuming everything will be good, we'll get back to you on Sunday. I'm sure we'll podcast again when some more crazy shit inevitably happens. I think it'll definitely be worth after the first Tribal Council podcasting. But I think that's going to do it for now. So if there are no final thoughts, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Poody out.
Enjoy your weekend, everybody.
A fun night.